Alright, so a few days ago we spoke about Resident Evil 6 and a potential remake and talked about, kind of on a surface level what could happen in that game, what you could expect in that game. But I think what we're going to do today is look at it again, but point out some of the biggest kind of gameplay elements in 6 that probably could do with being changed, and there is a few, because believe it or not, Resident Evil 6 has a lot of different mechanics in it, and it's actually surprising every time I play it that there's so much you can do in the game that some of it is good, some of it is unnecessary, but I do want to go over the main kind of ones I think do need to change. So without any further ado, let's get into it. First and foremost, QTEs. QTEs are a big thing in Resident Evil 6. You thought there was a lot in Resident Evil 5, in 6 there's just loads more, and again, like I mentioned in the 5 video, they were very much a thing of the time. A lot of games had them at that time, and with Resident Evil 4 Remake, they were in that too, and they got removed pretty much entirely in the remake for 4, so I think following that, they'll probably be removed in 5 and 6 if they get remade as well. Again, there's a lot more in 6, so I'll either have to cut out reasonably sized portions of the game or make a lot more of them interactable. On the topic of it, I did mention in the 5 video as well that I think co-op should stay, and I think this is no different. I think the games are very much made for you to play co-op, and changing it to a solo game, while people would probably like that, and I do agree there should be an option for it, I think for the most part they should be still co-op games to play. Another thing that I've kind of seen people talk about with Resident Evil 6, and it's a big thing in the gameplay side of things, is the game is built around action. Like, the game is a full action game. There's no horror like in 4 and slightly in 5. Like, this is balls to the wall. You're fighting everything you see. And sometimes you really do not have the ammo for it. Like, there's more enemies than bullets, and yeah, you get a lot of guns, you can carry like every gun you find, but ammo is a big deal in this game, and you don't get much sometimes, and I think a big part of that is because of co-op, and there should be 2 of you firing, so again, that's going to even itself out when you've got another player, but if you're playing solo, the ammo count and the amount of bullets that some enemies can take doesn't match, and I think that does need adjusting massively. If they keep it action, I guess just either decrease the enemy HP or increase the bullet damage across the board. I'd imagine they'll probably go with the enemy HP rather than ammo, because again, they probably want to make it feel like Resident Evil in some way with the remake, so keep your ammo count low, maybe increase the amount of enemies you fight, but maybe decrease their overall HP. Another thing with the campaign, overlapping boss fights and overlapping kind of encounters. I mentioned this briefly before, but there's a few boss fights where they kind of lap into each campaign. The Houston Act you have to fight on Leon and Jake's campaign. The big brute thing, I forget what it's called, where you have to like pull the thing out of his back. You fight that with Jake and Chris in their campaigns, and there's no need for them to overlap. An option to skip or a completely different scenario for each character would be good. It just gets annoying when you have to play through the same parts again for no real reason other than to pad out the playtime, I suppose, and make the campaign still the same length, even though you're doing the same thing twice. Another thing that's quite present in 6 is vehicle sections. There's a few of them. Off the top of my head, there's a jet sequence with Chris and Piers, which is ridiculous. There's a bike section with Jake and Sherry. There's a snowmobile section, which I kinda liked, but kinda didn't. Like, basically, it was a big open part of the game where you had to find like these data drives, and the area was quite big, so you had to kind of use the snowmobile to get around. But it was quite annoying at times because you couldn't see where you were going. There was annoying flying enemies in there that would pick you up all the time, and it honestly didn't control that well, but it was fun to do. But either way, it's still there. And there's also a bit in a Humvee with Chris and Piers as well. Well, I do appreciate that it's not like an on-rails section, like a turret section, because one of you is driving and one of you is shooting, and that's pretty cool. Again, they're a bit over the top, especially the jet sequence, which is just ridiculous. So maybe cut those out and replace those with something else, or just remove them entirely because they're not necessary. But in terms of things that are present in the game that should remain and maybe be improved upon, is the skill point system is pretty cool. I did enjoy that. You could put like loadouts together that increase certain things like damage or your stamina and stuff. That was really fun, so maybe expand that a little bit more. That'd be really cool. Like, maybe there's like unique perks built around the specific character you're playing. That'd be cool. As well as that, you have the melee system itself. That was very cool. Look, that was very interactable. Like, if enemies were carrying weapons, you could kind of like stun them and then use their weapon against them to one-shot them. There was like stealth attacks, one-shot attacks, and the melee system was good. And I think off the back of the parry system from 4, If they kept that in with the 6 melee system, that'd be really fun. And that would make, again, the lack of bullets less of an issue, because you can just kind of hand-to-hand everyone. But I think the thing with 6 is you'll probably need to change a lot more than there is to even keep. Like, I think the game really does feel quite different compared to the other mainline entries. I think, like I said, 5 is kind of like the thin line between action and survival, but 6 just goes all the way to action. And it is a bit janky. There are some things that definitely need improving if they were to keep it the exact same. But if they were to change it completely, I think the things like I mentioned would be positives for the most part. But as always, let me know what you think. But yeah, I'm sure there's more that could be added to this list, but that's just what I think of when I think of Resident Evil 6 and how it could be improved. So if there's anything else you guys want to add, be sure to leave it in the comments down below. And as always, thank you all for watching. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe for more Resident Evil content if you are new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.